Hello, happy Tuesday. Um, Let me really quick, my dog's trying to get inside. All right, so happy Tuesday. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to work on um, character analysis today. So I'm going to go through everything with you. It sounds a little bit scary, but you should be able to do this. I believe that you can do this. All right, so today's objective and essential question, you're going to be able to use the Steele method of character analysis. And if you're like, what is the Steele method? Don't worry, I'm going to go over it. In order to determine an accurate characterization of one of the main characters. So, the essential questions that you are going to answer. What is characterization? What kind of person is the main character of my story? Not my story, not your story, the actual story that you are reading. And if you need a little bit of an update on plot, there's a little video. I know we already watched it, but no problem watching it again. All right, so instead of using guided notes, you are going to all get a copy of this exact presentation, and you are all going to type responses into the presentation and submit the presentation to me with all of your responses. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in a second. So the first thing you're going to do is a stop and jot. You're going to answer the following in the box below that says type your response here. Okay? If you had to describe yourself to someone who has never met you, what would you say? What is it about you that you feel defines you? Is it your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, etc.? So I'm going to show you exactly what I need you to do. So it says type your response here. You're going to get rid of that, and you are going to write, I would describe myself as a very outgoing person who loves talking to people. I think that I often. This is a lot. This is pretty difficult, actually, being able to define yourself. Even at my age, it's kind of hard to do. So right now, what I'm going to stick with is I'm outgoing. I can talk to people. I think. I hope. Okay. And what do I think defines me? I think that my actions are what define the person that I am. I'm a big believer in actions speak louder than words. So I would say that the things that I do are the biggest things that define me as a person. Okay? So you're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to type your response here so that when I share this with you guys remember that that's what you're supposed to do. Okay? Next. So I'm going to give you the definition of characterization. Characterization is the act of describing a character based on a number of traits. So if you were a person in the beginning who was like, what is Steele? I'm going to give you the definition now. So you're going to think Steele. The first thing is speech. What do they say? But also, how do they say it? If you've ever spoken to somebody who seems to uh, be a little bit on the moody side, and you go and you ask them if everything is okay, and they're the kind of person who will respond, yeah, everything's fine. That kind of response is different than if you ask somebody who you feel like is always in a happy mood, who might say something like, yeah, everything's fine. How characters speak to other characters is definitely something that is telling of their character. Are they rude? Are they aggressive? Are they super enthusiastic? All of that kind of stuff. Okay? Thoughts. What does the character think? So these things are not always obvious. An author is not always going to write and then the character thought and then give you their exact thoughts. Sometimes you need to look at the other parts of Steele to understand what the character is thinking. Okay? Effect on others. How do they interact with other characters? This can also go along with speech and the idea of how characters speak. The way that other characters interact with others could be something like they're always irritated when someone talks to them, or They always seem to kind of bring the mood down when they come into the room, that kind of thing. Or the opposite, maybe they bring the mood up when they come into the room. And then actions, what they do. That one's pretty self-explanatory, okay? And then looks, how they look. We always talk about don't judge a book by its cover, and in life that is true. In literature, that might not be true, okay? A lot of the times when things were written around like the 1800s, when they didn't really have the saying don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing, they did make their characters look a lot like their actual character traits. There's this one pretty old book called the Canterbury Tales, where every character within the Canterbury Tales is completely perfectly described by the way that they look. So again, a lot of the times the way that a character looks will be a point toward how they are as a character. Okay? A big, giant, muscular character would be somebody that might be very intimidating, or somebody who might be an aggressor in a situation. So those are the things that you have to make sure that you look at. Here's an example of where actions are definitely speaking as far as the character traits of both of these girls. This person is very careful. She is looking where she is walking. She seems to be swerving in and out of the puddles. She must really like those boots, although they look like rain boots, so I don't understand why she cares if they get wet. But regardless, this person is very careful. This person, as the picture says, is careless. They don't seem to be looking at where they're going. They seem to be doing other things, multitasking, and not really caring. It looks like she's about to step in that puddle with those, what it looks like, brand new blue shoes, which would be upsetting, right? Okay. Here are the directions for signing up for Common Lit. I want to make sure that I give them to you again. You're going to visit commonlit.org. You're going to click sign up. You're going to click I'm a student, and you're going to enter the class code. With this account, you'll be able to use the very, very helpful read aloud feature. I believe I showed it to you yesterday, but that read aloud feature is very, very, very helpful. Okay? Think about it as a teacher that is standing there reading the words to you so that you don't have to necessarily read and encode them yourself. So, because you have listened to my beautiful voice for over 7 minutes, I am allowing you to now take a break. So what you can do is you can pause this video. I'm not going to pause my speech because if you're pausing the video, you're already pausing my speech. So you can pause the video, click this timer. It should go on for 5 minutes. Have the music playing so that you're aware of how much time you have left. Pretty good music. 8 a.m. It's the best thing you want to listen to, right? Pumps you up. So you play that timer for 5 minutes. You go and you do something. Make sure the computer's in earshot so that you know when your time is up. The sound that you're going to hear sounds a little bit something like this. Oh, I thought it was going to have an ending sound. It doesn't really have an ending sound. But actually, I guess the ending sound would be that it ends. So play the timer. Once the music stops, that is when you come back and you finish your work. You take a 5-minute stretch break, get a snack, watch a funny video, pet your dog, hopefully. I wrote or cat, I guess, because I guess I can't really discriminate. I guess if you try to pet your cat, it's probably going to bite you or scratch you because that's what cats do, but regardless. And then after you come back from your break, you are going to type your response as to what you did. I played with my dog. Okay? That's all I need. I need one sentence. It kind of makes me feel like I'm like able to connect with you a little bit more than just you guys watching my face on this video. Okay? After your stretch break, after you eat a snack, you are going to do your STEAL assignment. So you're going to use the same story that you read yesterday. You're going to use the same story that you read yesterday, choose one character in the story, and fill in the STEAL graphic organizer on the next slide. Okay? So here are the same stories from yesterday. You click, there's your links, you sign in, okay? And then you can use that read aloud feature to have it read to you again. So before I give you or I show you the actual assignment slide, I'm going to show you an example. So this is an example of Steele and finding character traits. So you're going to watch this video. It shows you a little bit of, it shows you an excerpt from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You are looking specifically at the character Greg Heffley. You're going to watch the video. After you watch the video, you're going to look down at this example and you are going to look at it. Greg talks like he is not afraid of anything. He tries to convince other characters to see things his way. So now you are starting to think about Greg as a character, the way that he speaks, okay? Thoughts. Why would you think it is okay to use his friend's toothbrush to clean a shoe? He doesn't seem like a good friend. So he is thinking about these things, right? So effect on others, he makes other characters do things that they know aren't right, which means it may not be true to who they are, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. You're going to go through this and you're going to use that as your example. Now, this is your response sheet. You are going to use this response sheet using the story that you read on Common Lit. You are not using Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You are not using anything other than the story that you chose to read on Common Lit. You are going to type the character's name, type the character's main character trait, like the biggest thing that you find about this person, and you are going to fill in the Steele graphic organizer. So before I ask you to do that, I'm going to have you look at this. This is a chart that shows character emotions versus character traits. The word versus means that these two things are opposing each other, which means that they are not the same. So an emotion and a trait are not the same. So if I ask you to write a character trait and you write an emotion, that is not correct. Okay? So before you write your character trait down, ask yourself the question, does this character trait represent the character's personality or represent how the character feels? If you answer the question, it represents how the character feels, then you are not using the correct wording. You need to talk about how the character behaves and the character's personality traits. Okay? These things you can definitely use feeling words. In here you can use feeling words, but if you are writing the main character trait, you may not use an emotion, you have to use a trait. And to make sure and to check your work, ask yourself, does this represent how the character feels or does it describe the character's personality? Okay? All right, that is it for today. You have a absolutely wonderful day filled with lots of learning and super, super fun schoolwork. And then after, do something else. All right, you have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.